In this video, I am going to talk about my biggest hot takes related to this venture camp. And in this video, we are going to start off with the most basic ones and end with the most savage ones. We are going to start with the most basic hot take of this video, which is that Jake should have been an earlier boot in this Venture Camp All-Stars. I feel like a lot of people out there can agree with me on this one, but please hear me out. I feel like Jake is probably the most unlikable member from the former Magenta team, and even more unlikable than Fiore if you ask me. And if you think about it, then at least three characters were failed and wasted because of Jake's petty personality. The first names that come to my mind are James, Connor, and Ashley. So yeah, I feel like Jake is definitely one hell of a person. And speaking of characters which had eliminations that were at least a bit related to Jake, we have to say that a character like Alec is definitely pretty overrated by the fandom. I mean, don't get me wrong, Alec is probably the best, if not one of the best features of this Venture Camp Season 1, and he was quite good at the start of this Venture Camp All-Stars. However, after he created the Villains Alliance, he managed to become a background character in his own alliance. I actually feel bad for the fact that not a lot of people today acknowledge this tragic character derailment of Alec. In fact, a lot of characters in this Venture Camp All-Stars became pretty hard and insufferable to watch. However, if we talk about the characters that were actually pretty enjoyable to watch this season, we have to say that Grett was probably the best player of this Venture Camp All-Stars. Rhea literally admitted in one of the episodes that she used to look up to her during season 1, and when Alec, for example, has the decent physical strength and Fiore has the manipulation skill, Grett has both. The fact that Jake even admitted that she was voted out from season 3 because she would easily crush them all in the final challenge speaks a lot of volumes. And in the season 3, Grett was also able to manipulate people even when they knew that it could possibly backfire, which again speaks a lot of volumes. And my next hot take is going to be about finals, which is the fact that Ellie honestly deserved to win the $1 million over Miriam. Before joining the first season of this venture camp, both Ellie and Miriam had a pretty tough past. Ellie had to work for 2 jobs to be able to pay for education in the college, while Miriam lost her husband and son in an accident. And honestly, when Ellie said in an interview that Miriam is twisted, well, she was kinda right because if you ask me, she pretty much messed up when she played with Ellie's sympathy to win $1 million, and she will be justified if she lets Miriam to go under the light, honestly. I honestly don't know what do you guys think about this entire situation, but honestly, Miriam lost some of her likability for me after how she treated Ellie in the finals. And speaking of likability, I feel like we all can agree that Hunter is probably the most likable character of season 2. Hunter has over 4 individual immunities won in the season 2, which is the highest ever amount of individual immunities won by one character. And honestly, I feel bad for the fact that a lot of people forgot about Hunter and how he got screwed up by Rhea and the immunity totem that she stole from Rosa. And honestly, this guy deserved to make it to the finals in season 2 because I feel like he really worked hard for that. My next hot take is again going to be about Hunter, and honestly, Hunter should stick with Tess instead of Ali. And I quite miss the old days of Hunter, Tess, and Ali in season 2 when they were a love triangle with a polyamorous relationship. I feel like Tess was done quite dirty, and it's actually quite sad to watch how she basically had to become a third wheel in season 3 after Hunter and Allie became public about their relationship after the second season. But can you imagine what would happen if Allie would be eliminated earlier from the game than Hunter and Tess? Maybe Hunter would kiss with Tess again and stick with her in the end. And also, that relationship would be less toxic and hard than with Allie. Carol is honestly a pretty interesting character. I feel bad watching how they made Carol return in the merge of season 2 just to eliminate her in the next episode, and I also hate to see how Aiden and James treated her like a shit. Honestly, if she could be able to join the Disventure Camp All-Stars, maybe then we would be able to see more of Carol's human side, because she definitely has a lot of wasted potential as a character. Gabby is honestly the best couple in Disventure Camp history. A lot of couples went through a lot of ups and downs in Disventure Camp All-Stars. Some of them became straight up toxic, however, Gabby was an exception to this rule. After Gabby overheard Rhea and Alec talking about the Villains Alliance, a lot of people speculated that their relationship would go through a really rough patch. And honestly, I was also at some point thinking about it that way, but I am actually happy to see that it didn't happen, which once again proves that Gabby is the true winner of the season, cause really, who needs money when you have happiness? As a villain, Alec is better than Rhea. Although, yes, Rhea was practically a menace 24/7 in Disventure Camp All-Stars, and she managed to outlast Alec, but we have to admit that still Alec remains as one of the best players that stepped in Disventure Camp. And the whole reason why he lost in season 1 was because of being too loyal to Ellie and Fiore. Tom honestly deserved to make it to the finals in Disventure Camp All-Stars. Now yes, his goofy manners and naive personality made him to go from a perfectly rated fan favorite to an underrated underdog, which is quite sad to watch because Tom is one of my personal favorites. And honestly, he could feel as a finalist way better than Rhea, Jake, and Ali all put together. He was a pretty worthy candidate for a finalist considering his physical strength and passion. We can't say that Tom will definitely make the best finalist ever, but he had to at least outlast everyone from the former Cyan team and at least make it to the final 5. Connor was pretty insufferable to watch during the merge at some point, at least for me. Actually, there is one person that could save his life, and believe it or not, it's actually Grett. So how about for a moment we imagine Connor and Grett as a couple? I know this sounds crazy and this is more about my personal imagination, but if you think more about it, Connor and Grett actually have a lot of things in common. First of all, they both seem to have a complicated relationships with parents, and they both recently escaped a toxic relationship from 2 members of Villains Alliance. So they could both save each other, which could probably be the biggest flex in Disventure Camp history. And now, this is it for this video, guys. Don't forget to press the like button under this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed to it yet. And I will see you guys in the next one.